Hey guys, it's Roscoe, and on the Space Couch set I'm going to be reviewing this, Jack McDevitt's Thunderbird. Now, this is a sequel to Ancient Shires, which came out many years ago, and that was where they discovered a gateway, or Roundhouse as it's called, on a Native American reservation in the US, and that leads to other worlds. So this follows on from the end of that. So they're starting to explore through this gateway mechanism to the various other locations that they've found. One of them is that jungle world that we saw in the first book. The next one is it's a space station that looks like it's got a view of the Milky Way galaxy from it. There's also one where it appears to be just a series of dead-end corridors. So anyway, as you can imagine, there's much more to it than that. They start exploring through all these different places, and they'll start discovering other destinations as well at those locations. However, on that jungle planet, they discover it is inhabited, they're not alone on that world, by a race that's essentially similar to, but not like, gorillas. It's that style of primate, although they're closer to human than gorillas. And they start communicating with this couple who live in a cabin in the woods, you know, trying to figure out their language and all of that. It's really interesting. The one where it seems like it is just a series of endless dead-end corridors is essentially an equivalent of a roller coaster. You know, so there is a ride you take on that once you activate the correct symbol, and there's an amazing view of the giant gas planet with rings, very spectacular. So yes, there's good tourist destinations for all of these. There's also one where it looks like they've come out into a museum in a city, a very advanced city, with a civilization. They're not seen by that civilization because I think they come out at night time, you know. But yes, it's like this museum has got this ancient tech, as it were, which still works. So the humans have stumbled into that, though, as I say, very careful not to be seen. There's another one that's very worrying for everybody, where it's essentially, first anyway, where it's like some, you know, those planets that circle in too close to their sun and they're just scorched. It seems to be like that, some desolate world, ruined cities here and there, you know, and it's just like a hellhole. In fact, they call it hell because of how hot it is. You need encounter suits, you know, you can't just live there. It's just a nightmare, literally, especially when they see an aircraft hovering over some of the ruins, and when it lands, what looks like to be a classic demon comes out, you know, horns and all that sort of thing. So they're absolutely terrified. They're even more terrified when, on another excursion to that planet, they look and see a moon in the sky. And the moon they see in the sky is our moon in the sky. So the gate mechanism also allows for time travel. In this case, many hundreds, if not billions of years into the future, where Earth is essentially a cinder, you know, and it's a tourist destination of the future. So yes, all very worrying for some of them, you know. So they don't know what to do with this mechanism. As you recall in the first book, they were just going to try and destroy the Roundhouse. They didn't, it would be a disaster. This one they decide, because there's also, you know, those mini tornado creatures, you know, they're coming through again, doing whatever it is they're doing, helping people or not. It's very difficult to tell what their motivations are. One of them seems to be trapped on Earth, and they managed to get it back to the world with the gas giant and rings. Except two of them then end up coming back to Earth, and the humans, the people who run the reservation, they actually remove a couple of the most important pieces of the mechanism, the bit that allows it to essentially to dial up these destinations, or for people to dial in and physically travel. And they dump it into Lake Superior. I think, yeah, that'll be an end of it. I can't think anything going wrong with that, you know. And that's essentially how it ends. They started exploring all these worlds, found out some amazing information, and now the other side, they're too frightened, it's too dangerous. I'm sure there's going to be a follow-on, because it's not just going to end with them dumping the mechanism into the lake, you know. Far too easy for something to find it and rebuild it, or for others to figure out how to dial in and come here anyway. But as with all, that is in fact the gas giant that they see, by the way, on that roller coaster ride. With all Jack McDevitt's, it's absolutely fascinating. Fairly slow burn as usual, but builds up to the excellent climax as always. I thoroughly recommend it to you. It has the same characters from that first book, which must be nearly 20 years old by now, at least 15 I would have thought. So like I said guys, Jack McDevitt, he does not disappoint. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed this content, leave me a comment suggestion for upcoming topic you'd like to see discussed, or like the video.